the lovely aging of a vintage Snowflake Submariner.
That looks just like, when I go outside and do the thing with my pee-pee.
Oh, God. You're a girl. You don't have a pee-pee.
Oh, my ding-dong.
Here we go. Hi, and welcome back, my watch friends. It has been a while. Life has a way of getting in the way of, important things. Anyway, but here I am, we're back, and it's a lovely winter day out here in the North Pole, where it's -3 degrees Fahrenheit, which is negative 19 degrees Celsius for those of you who use a more logical scale. I'm out here. I've got this spaz with me. Got my winter boots on. Got the snowboarding pants. Got the gloves because, I like my fingers. And I thought I'd give you guys a little presentation of my latest creation. I call this little guy Yellow Snow. Anywho, let's kind of get into it. As you can see, this is an homage to the Tudor Submariner, the blue snowflake, specifically the 9411, which is from the early 70s. It's I don't know. The first time I saw this watch, the actual Tudor, I'm pretty sure I didn't like it. But as with anything that you see enough times, you kind of just grow to love it. That's how advertising works. So I finally decided I needed to make one of these for myself, because I sure as heck wasn't gonna just fork over $5,000, or is it $9,000 these days? A lot in any case. So here we are. Let's kind of break this down from the outside. Let's talk about this case. So a few. Oh, are we going this way? Let's go this way. A few months ago, I would say 4 or 5 months ago, these cases started showing up on eBay. They are the Submariner style, vintage Submariner style case for the Seiko movements, for the NH35 and all that. And they are kind of the shape of the Submariner, Tudor, and Rolex Submariners that you see from the late 60s through the very late 90s, before they switched to the really kind of chunky, and in my opinion, boring lugs. And anyway, moving on. So that's what this case was. Let me kind of give you, in fact, a bit of a review of the case itself. Here is what it looks like out of the box. It comes with several bezel insert options. I ended up getting the black one. The lugs, the shape of the lugs is a little bit wider than the one that I was going for. So it's probably closer to the late 90s lug thickness than it is to the early 70s when the original Snowflake came from. But the case itself is truly very well done. As you can see, the shape is very nice. It has this domed acrylic crystal, which gives it obviously a very vintage look. It's got the classic Rolex Oyster style case back, which is a bit of a pain in the butt because you really need one of those rubber friction balls to open it. You can't open it with with your kind of case tool, unless you have the Rolex style case opening tool. But the friction ball works very well, and in fact I use it on all case backs really, if possible. It eliminates the risk of causing damage to the case back, and overall this is a great case. So a little change of venue. Turns out that my phone was less of a fan of the weather outside than me and Watchdog are. So we had to come inside because it decided to stop working. So to finish up about this case, it is very good quality overall. The movement, the NH36 movement, fits in there perfectly. It's not too snug and not too loose. It may be saying a bit much about the quality of these aftermarket cases you get because with modern machining equipment and techniques and programming, it's probably easier to get it right than it is to get it wrong. But I will say that they definitely got it right. Now, the one thing that I did do is, as I mentioned, I think the lug shape here on the original case is probably closer to the later 90s lug width, so a little bit wider and chunkier than what you would have seen in the early 70s on these 9411 Snowflakes. So I did reshape the case some. To do that, I used a sharpening stone. Now, I have done reshaping, of these stainless steel cases in a number of ways. I've used my Dremel tool, probably most, and some other things. The Dremel tool works very well. However, I find that it's hard to get things even with the Dremel. What you find is you take a little too much off on one side, then you have to go and fix it on the other side, and before you know it, you've gone thinner than you want. However, with the sharpening stone, and it's your regular sharpening stone you get in your hardware store, you could use for sharpening your knives or chisels. I actually got a very, very even grind on these lugs. I was able to match the millimeter. I went to about 2.5 millimeters at the tip there of the lug, and I was even able to do the shaping a little bit there on the corner of it too, to give it a little bit more of that vintage look. I did finish it up with a Dremel to get some of the finer shape at the end, just to hone it a little bit. But overall, I thought the sharpening stone was a very good idea. I did the same thing also on the crown guards to thin them out just a little bit. Now, my one kind of annoyance with this case was in the bezel. It's a non-clicking bidirectional bezel, which is appropriate for the period. It was a pain in the butt to remove with the case knife, and kind of an even bigger pain in the butt to put back on. It has one of those tension springs that you see in the Invicta and the Vostok watches, and I just don't like working with those, and this one seemed to be more of a pain in the butt than usual. So if you were to do stuff to the case, I would see if you could do whatever you can without removing the bezel. But really, that might be my own issue. You out there might be much more adept at working with these bezels than I am. Plenty of people mod Invictas and Vostoks, so it's probably just me. Okay, so let's move on a little bit. Continuing with the outside, we've got this bezel insert. Now, I originally purchased a separate blue one, which I thought would work real nicely, but when I faded it using a bathroom cleaner bleach solution, it went too bright for this dial. So what I did is I took the black insert that I had gotten with this case and tried that, and it just bleached perfectly. It faded into this blue-gray, which matches the dial wonderfully. Let me see if I can get better lighting for you so you can kind of see. It really works. I'm very happy with it, and I wouldn't have expected that it would turn out this perfect, but there it is. All right, now let's move on to this dial. This lovely light navy blue snowflake style dial comes from Yobokeys. It is his snowflake dial. You can see it on his website. The dial is very high quality. There's beveling on the date window. It's got that lovely Tudor rose right there. Actually, I mean, I guess it could be either a Lancaster or York rose as well. In any case, it comes with white loom. It's not aged at all, and I did have to age the loom on both the dial and the hands. How I did that is pretty simple. It's a Crayola marker set. They're higher quality marker set, art marker set. I borrowed them from the kids. So I used the yellow one, and it really it worked out perfectly. It was really easy to apply, and I got this kind of result, this yellow patina. I also I got rid of the original loom pip that was in the bezel insert, and I just put a little bit of regular loom right inside the hole, and colored it with that same marker to get that result. The hands come from A. Giusti, or Alexander James. He has the store both on eBay as well as his own website. Specifically, his hands have never been out of size. I have ordered plenty of hands for Seiko movements from all the aftermarket manufacturers, and for most of them, at least once, I get a minute hand that is out of spec and just a little too big. This has never ever happened with Alexander James's stuff, and pretty much I go to him. If he has the hand that I'm looking for, he's the one that I will go to, because I get it in like 2 days, and they're always perfect in quality. So that's where this came from. So there it is. Not much more to say. Movement is your standard NH36. Everyone knows what that's all about. And the strap is your classic Grey NATO. So yeah, there it is. The tuber yellow snow. All right, everyone. Cheers.
Time to make some patina! Oh, it's cold in my butt. What?